Linda, you have been a guest host for us here on the Real Stuff Show, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Guest
really
and
it.
host as well.
We're going to dig into something a little different.
God.
So, you may or may not know that the celebration of Cinco de Mayo perhaps goes way back in time. We're talking centuries. Centuries.
What was the year, Jay? What was the year?
It was 1917. Am I close?
Jay knows everything about Cinco de Mayo history.
Just go with it. So, this whole
guys, Cinco de Mayo, 1862.
1862. That's what I said. So this whole event was really about adversity and overcoming adversity. And one of the questions that we never got from you was, what is like the moment in your life? What is something that you look back in your life as like your core adversity act? Something that happened that you can sort of look back on and say, this is what drives me to success.
I mean, there's so many. But I would say, obviously...
I'm sorry, guys. I was asking for a margarita. Oh, she brought the margarita!
Thank you.
Elvia.
Elvia.
Cheers to Elvia.
Cheers to Elvia, the backbone of the curated collection group.
That's great. Cheers. Oh my gosh, Elvia is always saving our lives here, right?
She is the life preserver.
She's a multitasker.
She is.
So back to the question.
Back to your question.
So obviously, I would say the biggest thing for me.
Speak closely, Linda. I need you to. Today is really important to speak like this.
Make love to the microphone.
Now it's great. Yes.
Perfect. That's the margarita talking.
Cut. Take two.
But don't drink too much because it can be inspired me. So close to the mic.
We don't have an HR yet on staff. So.
Okay. But seriously.
And so, Linda, yes. we are this beautiful party, you know, we're drinking a little bit. So we have so much alcohol, okay? So I'm sorry if we're not doing as deep as
listen, I'm fine. You don't have to tell me.
Half the things Augusto says you can't understand anyway, so he gets away with a lot more than I do.
You're so much clearer right now. It's like amazing.
It just sounds better when Augusto says things inappropriate.
Yes. with my accent, it becomes a little bit more sexy.
It's always better with an accent, 100%.
Linda, so happy to have you here. Yes. Your energy has lost shine, everything here.
Thank you. Gracias.
So tell us, what was this turning point event in your life? You know, Cinco de Mayo, the Battle of the Puebla, the city, the small city in Mexico, and the city put themselves together. The villagers, they joined the army, the Mexican army, and they overcome like the France. Amazing. Overwhelming army, and and we are trying to catch for each one of our guests today.
That's a good question.
This moment that you have a so big challenge that you could not even believe that you overcome it.
I got it. I mean, honestly, it's leaving my ex-husband with two young children. Leaving my ex-husband with two young children. I didn't have it. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had no job. I was in a not good situation, and I was young. I was like 35 years old, 34, which is young to me now.
Right.
And a lot of my friends didn't support me and said, what are you doing? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to support yourself and your kids? And I was like, anything is better than this situation. And I left a bad marriage and got into real estate and raised my kids.
So you got a lot of people out there that have the same kind of story. Let's face it, like the divorce industry right now is up, 60%. Yeah. Right. So you have a better chance of getting divorced.
And I never wanted to be that person. I was like, I will not be that person.
It's not a label. It doesn't define you.
I know, but you have that mentality, like.
But what you do next defines you.
Absolutely.
So what happened? What is it about you that, like, some people will feel like, you know what, my life's over. I can't achieve what I need to achieve. What did you do that made you the success that you are today?
I've always had a different mentality. So like, I have friends today that are still married that were unhappy when I got divorced, and some people stayed in the situation, and I stayed in even longer than I should have. And my mother kept saying, like, you need to get out of this situation. I'm like, no, I have two little kids. Like, what am I gonna do? And like, you just have to persevere. And I've always had that mentality of like, go out there and attack it and just do the best you can. And I knew I would make it because I'm a very hard worker and I'm a survivor. So I'm like, like, I knew I'd be fine, but it is the fear of the unknown. I had many sleepless nights wondering how I was going to take care of my kids, you know. But, you know, you just go to work, and you look at your kids and you're going to do it. But, you know, just do it.
You know, when you overcome this after, it becomes a release, right? And you can celebrate. And for the Mexicans after, because of this win, they had enough strength to get into and then liberate themselves from France, because France tried to win their territory. So whenever the United States came back from the Civil War, they support a little bit the Mexicans, they could get back their country, you know. What would be, you know, this fact that you have, this overcoming this event in your life, after probably brought some strength, right? Probably brought you some, you know, an edgy point that you could develop yourself and become stronger and have success. Yeah. Can you say a little bit about this?
I mean, it's funny because my mom would say to me, like, you should go, and I'd be like, I can't do it. I'm not strong enough to do it. And then you don't know until you do it. And I kind of always like a challenge, and that wasn't like, oh, I want a challenge, let me divorce my husband. It was more like, I'm not happy. My mother said, you're 35 years old, do you want to be 55 in the same situation? And I was like, that would be stupid. So it's just like you know that you're going to do, you know that there's something better for you. You know there's always something that is better out there. If you're in a bad situation, you should never stay in it, and you know you'll land on your feet. If you just work and eye on the prize, you'll land on your feet.
There's a word that she describes that is used in our industry called grind.
Yeah.
Grind. You're a grinder.
I am a grinder.
You're a grinder?
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, you know, like working hard and grinding, it's for sure something that the people from Puebla did, and of course that's bringing results, right?
Yeah.
The big outcomes. We've talked to a good few people here.
Yeah.
Some people have amazing credentials coming from another industry. Some people have amazing education.
Yep.
You came, not to say you didn't come from anything, but you came from a position where you were, stay-at-home mom?
Yep.
And you reinvented yourself.
And I wasn't even from here. I was in Maryland. I grew up in Maryland. I moved to Sarasota for 2 years of high school. I went to UF. After college, I moved here. So I wasn't born and raised here. I didn't have like the base of people. My family is not here. And I was like room mom. I was involved PTA involved with the school, but I was not like, I didn't have that built-in basis of people like a lot of people do here, which is amazing. Yeah. So I mean, I started with really ground zero in every aspect of my life.
And I have, it's funny because reflecting from your story to me, and I think this is where I resonate a lot. In my building different teams in real estate, I've come across a lot of women that have tried to reinvent themselves because they were in a relationship that didn't work out. They had a responsibility to their kids. Absolutely. And unfortunately, they didn't start out with any type of career. They relied on their spouse.
A lot of people hear that come.
And I've dealt with different people that some of them just didn't survive. Yeah. And then I look at you and I say, this is the example of what I try to find, which is somebody that I don't care if they don't have a background in sales. It
doesn't matter.
But they got to have grit.
And you know what it is? It's like when you know, it doesn't matter what you have. It's like you can tell a personality that's going to go for it and get out there and hustle and do what they have to do. And no matter what the circumstances are, I had no back. My degree's in PR, which I am a people person, but it was not. I had anything that had to do with that. But a mentality of a person that's going to say yes, I'm going to go and work and do what I have to do to get it done.
Linda, here in this day, we are trying to celebrate people that was in our support, family or friends or in our support system, right? As in the battle, right? So people, they put themselves together, each one support themselves. Who would be remembering today that would say that someone that's in your support system and that would like to do a shout out?
Some really great friends that knew me before and what I went through and are still around, and because there's a lot of people that fall off, unfortunately, that aren't happy for your successes and whatever.
You've got haters out there?
I know. What? I mean, people that just whatever, that are not always happy for your success, and I have some really close friends for 30 years that are and actually one of my good friends is one that is married and didn't work and stayed home with her kids, and now she's she actually got her license, and she's like, this is hard shit. Like, I don't know how you do this.
Do you want to send a message? Do you want to send a message to her right now?
I
Send
don't
her a
want
message.
to embarrass her and put her on the
Okay.
spot.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
All right, this is the real stuff here,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, you probably in your circle of friends, right?
Yeah.
Probably had people around you that had very low expectations of you. Did you think about that? Like, remember, let's rewind time a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Stay home wife, stay home mom.
Not by choice, but
That's okay.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
No judgment here.
Yeah.
But now you're going to go off and you're going to try to battle the world, right?
oh yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Has anybody came back full circle in life that knew you before, maybe questioned if you would actually become where you are today, and now as a validation kind of giving you a
Yes.
little props?
Oh yeah, I've had numerous people actually that used to. I get texts, I get messages from people that were like, I knew you before, and I mean, there's a lot of people that, especially women. I feel like I was like a strong, like a woman. I was never like a vigilante for women, but I was always a strong personality, a strong woman that were like, I think people expected me to fail. That's just it's like, it's human nature. And like, she's gonna leave. What's she gonna do with her life? And I always knew. I just know my personality. I don't fail. It's just not in my makeup. But yeah, so many people that come up to me and said, I remember when you like left your husband, you had nothing, you started real estate, and many people expected me. I think that's part of the reason why some of them are like, wow, she made it.
So the second part of that question will be is, we like to ask this as a closing question.
Yeah.
If there's somebody in your sphere that kind of gave you the motivation and drive to succeed, who would you like to give a shout out to?
Linda Hoyt. I'm very self-motivated. There was nobody that really...
That's great.
Wait, did she just give a shout out to herself?
Yes, I love it.
You are the first that gives a shout out to herself. All right.
So guys, we have just get a shout out to Linda Hoyt.
Linda, thank you so much for jumping back on the show. Come back here with us and give a little selfie. Awesome job. Awesome job.
So guys, we have Linda Hoyt here. Linda Hoyt,
Linda,
selfie.
where do people find you? Where do people find you?
How they can find you?
On my Instagram, Linda_S_Hoyt_Realtor, Facebook, my website. I'm everywhere.
Awesome.
The American Dream TV selling Fort Lauderdale.
That's great. Linda Hoyt.
The best
Linda
person to
Hoyt.
ask about Linda is Linda.
And you can search the Real Stuff Show Linda Hoyt, and you're gonna see the full episode about her. If you search YouTube The Real Stuff Linda Hoyt, you're gonna find her full episode as well.
So a shout out to the Captain Painters. Now the Captain Painters I have had the pleasure of working with for the last 3 years. And not only what I love about them, not only obviously they do painting, but they also do a lot of interior renovation work as well too. And the unique proposition that the Captain Painters really, I think, that they instill in the client side of the business is that they treat your home. It's a kind of a tagline that they've developed, like a temple. And to me, I think that adds a lot of culture to their personality, because when you get a normal tradesperson that kind of comes in there, they're there to do the job and not really, in a sense, service the client. And when you talk about interiors, you're talking about customization, you're talking about design. And I really feel very comfortable when I recommend them to a job, because they really come in there and they look at the big picture, not just the job itself.